The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast, is brought to you by, well, of course, you. If you want to learn more about how you can support the show, go to patreon.com/expat2020. Hey everybody, welcome to The Arena, multi-platform gaming news podcast. I'm your host, Expat2020, along with my co-host Dan, and today we have two special guests with us. We're supposed to have three, but unfortunately his internet is down at the moment. Hopefully he'll be able to join us later as CrazeMeister84, but we have two guests with us right now. CrabbyX10, how you doing, Crabby?
I'm doing great, thanks. Thank you for asking. Yourself?
I'm doing good, man, and I'm doing good. And Burlymengaming, Burly, how are you, man?
I'm good. Happy to be here.
Excellent. Cool. So this is episode 19, and today we're doing a special episode, actually. We're going to be doing our Game of the Year for 2020. So this is kind of like a roundtable discussion today, where we talk about what we feel is our Game of the Year. But first, before we do that, let's talk about some of the things we've been doing this week. Dan, how are you, and what have you been doing this week?
Hey, yeah, I'm just dandy. What have I been doing? Last night, at my job at the Centre for Computing History, we had a live virtual gaming history tour, live streamed across the internet, which is quite good, quite a lot of fun. And while I haven't been working, I've been getting back into Animal Crossing after a lengthy gap. Yeah, and rage quitting Sakuna. I can't play Sakuna anymore because it's driving me nuts. So it's good. Yeah,
I see. Yeah, for me, I've just been playing, Valhalla. Still hanging in there with that. I didn't get a chance to play it so much this week because I was busy with the supplement for the podcast. I'll be talking about that a little bit later. But yeah, still playing Valhalla. Those I don't know, what do you call those guys? They're kind of like the high level, not inquisitors, but I forget what they're called. When you're doing raids, You're like, I'm like level 67 or 68 or something like that. And then you go on a raid, and then one of these guys come at you. They're like level 190 or something like that.
Good Lord.
And, just mess everything up. Yeah. But having fun with it. Still having fun. So Burly and Crabby. Burly, we'll start with you. What are you playing right now?
I'm still playing through Valhalla. I was streaming the game, but been just playing off on my off time, slowly leveling up and exploring.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And Crabby, what about you?
I've been playing quite a few different games. I've been playing Valhalla on stream. Then I took a break because I just thought I wanted to play something else. Simple as that. Mm-hmm. So a bit of Crusader Kings, where I made King Burly. Because they've got the new feature now where you can do kind of character creation at the start. So I did make Burly, and he was like a super king. I kind of really overpowered him, but it was fun. Also played a bit of World War Z last night with a few of the guys from our Discords. And that's just fun zombie killing, like no thinking, no story. You just blow stuff up and you kind of get showers of legs and arms. That's loads of fun. And then the other game I've been playing a lot of, and it's probably my favorite game right now, is Howl Let Loose. It's a very kind of, I suppose it's kind of like a hardcore strategy shooter. So like one shot will kill you. It's World War II based. It's based on satellite imagery of the actual battlefields. And yeah, you have the commanders and all that sort of thing. It's like a hardcore PC gaming shooter, and it's the most kind of first experience with one. And I absolutely love it.
Awesome. Okay. Cool. So I want to tell everyone out there that you can head over to the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast, where you can find us on any podcast app for iOS or Android, as well as on Spotify and on Amazon Music. Just download your favorite podcast app or open Spotify and search for the Arena Multiplatform Gaming News Podcast. Subscribe, follow us, post a review, and leave questions, comments, and feedback if you like, if that feature is available there, and spread the word about our podcast. We also have a web site for the podcast at expat2020.podbean.com, where you can follow us and leave questions and comments as well. Also, if you would like to support the show and become a patron to get early access to every episode and listen ad-free along with other perks, including the post-show that we do after every episode, please visit patreon.com/expat2020 for further details. You can also follow us on Twitter at the Arena AMPGNP, which stands for Multi-Platform Gaming News Podcast. Finally, the podcast will also be uploaded to my YouTube channel at Expat2020 Gaming, so you can go there to listen and subscribe and click that notification bell for future podcast episodes, and also leave any comments or questions you might have that we might read on a future episode. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to talk about our game of the year. So basically, feel free to ask questions to one another while you discuss your game of the year. Try to think of why the game deserves to be the game of the year. What stood out to you the most about that game? What makes it better than any other game that came out in 2020, for example? So what I thought we would do is go in alphabetical order, I think. So I guess, Burly, that falls to you first. Okay, so go for it, man. What is your game of the year for 2020?
Well, this won't shock very many people. My game of the year is going to go. I'm going with Ghost of Tsushima. I know the story starts a little slow, but I really did enjoy the story once it does pick up. And I really liked, for these open world games, I found so many of them, when you're doing the side stuff, it's just getting a completion percentage, where in this game, when you do the bamboo strikes, the hot springs, and a bunch of the other activities, you're slowly getting yourself more health, more focus, different techniques. And that I liked that for a good amount of the missions, you had different ways you could play them. So it was up to your play style. So I could play a mission my way, and someone else can play it, and it'd be completely different of how we got to the end.
I haven't played that game, Bernie. If you play it differently like that, does that affect the outcome of the game, or is it kind of a fixed storyline?
It doesn't affect the outcome, but you do have two different endings. There's not just one set ending at the end, because I'm not going to spoil it, but you do have an option at the end to pick.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Yeah. So how did you feel about it coming from a Western gamer's perspective? I mean, playing a game, that has a lot of, Eastern philosophical feel. For example, very culturally different in a sense. How did you feel about that, Burly?
I feel good about it. It actually wants me to take a little look and research a little bit about that era. I know the game's not historically accurate, but
yeah.
But it actually wants me to, research about that era, that time, the island, and the actual invasion that would have happened at that time.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I think, like you said, it's not historically accurate. I mean, but that's something that really you can't so much factor into this game and what it brings, and the graphical fidelity of it as well. It was very beautifully made. So
yeah, they used their creative license and got a really good game out of it. That would be a popular choice for Game of the Year, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so Crabby, it's your turn. What was your game of the year for 2020?
I have been umming and ahhing over this for like over a week. I was even in Burly's stream last night, and he was asking me kind of what I chose, and I'm like, I still don't know. And literally 5 minutes before jumping on here, I still didn't know. So I was considering things like what's best for me, or what's probably been best overall for the year for everyone. I was thinking Animal Crossing was an absolutely massive hit. At just the right time for, I suppose, the scenario the world was in at that point. But I only kind of spent probably 15, 20 hours in it, and then I kind of moved away from it. I'm probably going to move back to it over Christmas, but I've decided that's not my game of the year. What I've enjoyed the most that's released this year, because I'm putting that caveat on it, because there are other games that I've really enjoyed this year, which... anyway. So my favourite game of the year that's come out this year is Mountain Blade 2. It's a strategy game, and the strategy element probably isn't its best feature. It's the sheer scale of the battles you'll have. If you don't know anything about it, it's like a medieval fantasy strategy where you build up your own bands of men, armies, that sort of thing, try and take castles or villages, or just go raid and pillage or be traders. But
is it like Age of Empires?
No. So the I suppose the strategy map is, but when you actually have a battle, you go into first person view. Is it first or third? I can't remember. But you become your own character, and you've built up your own skills, and you go into battle with the rest of your soldiers, who you specialize and build up, and like grow from peasants to be fully fledged horse archers, or Roman legionaries, or Celtic berserkers, and those sort of things. And you'll have 500 soldiers on your side, 500 on the other, or you can have 2,000 of you invading a castle, having your trebuchets going, and you're first-person view, the middle of the action if you want to be, but you're also directing all your different soldiers and different elements to do different things. And it's utter chaos. It's great. There's loads of blood. There's decapitations. All the good stuff. But also, it's like the scale of it is huge on these battles. I think Birdie's seen me kind of play a couple of them where I'm in the big plains with all the horse archers, because I kind of set them up because I wanted to see which were the strongest units. And it's just so much fun. But it is a bit of a niche game, so it wouldn't be a popular choice. But I've spent a good 100 hours on it this year, and I've had a great time with it.
I see. Yeah. Dan, Burley, do you have any questions for Crabby on his game of the year?
What's your second game of the year?
One that you might know.
Yeah, exactly.
Honorable mention.
Yeah.
Valhalla has been pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't really consider it an Assassin's Creed game, because I think the Assassin's Creed games changed from probably Origins to be more RPGs, but they're still going to use that moniker because, it's marketing and stuff. But I think it's a really good game, Valhalla. The combat's fun. The story's pretty good. The fact that you can build things up, the customization. It's just a good, fun game just to kind of chug through. But probably not the best game of the year, but it's the one that I'm having fun with. So that'd be my
question. My question about Valhalla to you, Crabby, is: do they really need the modern day story in this game? How do you feel about it?
No, I've been thinking for quite a while that they might as well just strip that out, because that's not what the part that anybody's interested in. It's not needed. I suppose it's hard to strip it out now. It's been there for so long, but they could.
There's a lot of people out there. A lot of people out there saying that when they killed Desmond off, that was they should have kept Desmond and had the modern day story continue. But there's a lot of people out there as well that think that they really don't need that. Just send me off into some historical time period, But,
yeah, I mean, they're great historical action games, and that's what they're good at. They don't need the modern element, because what use is a hidden blade against somebody with an AK-47?
Exactly. Yeah.
What's the point? So yeah, it's all about the historical era and that sort of thing. I know it's not always accurate, but it kind of shows you historical characters that are probably a bit more interesting that you didn't necessarily know about. I always find myself going on Wikipedia, having a little look, and then going down a rabbit hole off the back of it. So that's another reason why I enjoy those sort of games.
Okay. Thank you very much. So before we move to Dan, I want to read a couple of listener comments.
Yay!
So some of our listeners and friends of the show also gave their, for example, opinions on their game of the year. On Twitter, one of our listeners, at Missing No, she said, "My game of the year, even though I didn't play it, yeah, I know, hear me out, goes to Animal Crossing. We were all on lockdown and 2020 sucked. Many people died, but people were using Animal Crossing to come together. It was trending longer than any other game. Even people like me who prefer Doom Eternal wish the Animal Crossing community good luck and hope that they enjoyed their game. From it came countless memes, artwork, and pure love in a time of such loss. Game of the year, Animal Crossing." Another listener and friend of the show and fellow streamer and friend of ours, Gaming Muse. So at Gaming Muse, he says The Last of Us Part 2 was his game of the year. The depth of the characters and story stand head and shoulders above everything else released. And then one other comment.
He through that twice this year, and he cried both times.
Yeah,
it was fun to watch. Just because he was crying on stream, it was amusing.
Yeah, and well, that's interesting because Muse, he doesn't use a webcam, so just hearing him sob, I guess.
That was one of the times he was grateful he didn't have the webcam on.
I guess, yeah. And one more of our listeners and friends of the show, Turn-Based Carl, he says, "I enjoyed Ghost of Tsushima, but I was never engaged by the story. I also felt that the gameplay was solid, but I ultimately got strong open world fatigue by the second part of the gameplay. For those two reasons, I actually just didn't finish it. I felt I got all I was going to get out of the game. For me, it doesn't even surpass their previous efforts on Infamous 1 and 2. Those are more unique games. Game of the year should be The Last of Us 2. It improves upon the gameplay of the previous game in every way. The performances are second to none. It's one of the best-looking games ever. The story is complex, multi-layered, and challenging emotionally. I literally came back to it every night, hungry to see how things would turn out, like binge-watching an award-winning TV series." So that's from our friend Turn-Based Carl. Okay, Dan, I'll let you take it away. So, for you, what was your game of the year for 2020?
Well, I don't know. That's a tough one. Famously, I position myself as someone who's not really interested in what's going on right now at games, in gaming, and modern games. But I went back and I looked at the list of all the big games that came out this year, and thought about the ones that I'd actually bought. And actually, I've bought like 5 games that came out this year, which is astounding. And it probably does go to Animal Crossing, really. Yeah, I mean, Last of Us 2 was amazing. I had a great time. Me and my girlfriend played through that together. So we were, discussing all the plot points and trying to see where the story was going to go and all that jazz. Yeah, I don't know if it does improve on the first one that much, Previous what that previous comment was. I mean, I agree. It's an amazing game, but yeah, I don't know. But yeah, no, Animal Crossing, sure. I mean, yeah, the timing of that, was perfect. Right at the start of the pandemic, everyone's got nowhere to go, so everyone just plays Animal Crossing and goes this idyllic desert island with all their little animal buddies. It was pretty awesome. So yeah, that's probably it for me. I haven't played Ghost yet. That's on my Santi list. I'm hoping to play that. This should be good. It's interesting, everyone's talking about these. I mean, all the game of the years we've had so far, well, most of them have been like, massive open world, like Valhalla. Had it come out earlier, probably would have been nominated for Game of the Year and all that jazz. Yeah, I don't know. It's strange. Like the person talked about open world fatigue. That's something that always concerns me about these games. That's kind of things that puts me off the Assassin's Creed series in general, really. And talk of like the side missions being busy work and stuff. It just seems like bleh.
Yeah. There was one game I forgot to mention that I wanted to give an honourable mention to, and that was Fall Guys. I know it's absolutely stupid, but it was so much fun. It is still so much fun, even though season 2 stuff. It's just like a little puzzle race sort of thing to the end. It's great.
Sorry.
It's just silly, stupid fun, and sometimes that's all you need from a game.
It's addictive because I've done sessions where I'm like, I'm just going to play one game of it, and then I'll look at my watch and be like, I spent an hour or two.
Brilliant.
You can't ever finish on going out first round. You just can't do it.
Yeah,
it's not allowed.
Yeah. Trying to get those crowns. Yeah, that was really fun. So
it's kind of a shame that it's Among Us, right? Yeah, came out so soon and just utterly destroyed its fan base. Because it was like everyone was talking about Fall Guys, and then it is Among Us, right? The game where you have the
That came out in 2018. It just got popular because streamers were playing it this year.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
That's even worse. Oh. But Animal Crossing's good. And Last of Us 2 gets an honourable mention. But I don't know, man. I see why a lot of people are very angry at Last of Us 2. There's a lot of very divisive stuff in that game. I mean, yeah.
Okay, it leads that to me now. 2020 was an interesting year. I want to start with my honorable mention, which is Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Such a beautiful game, and it really drew on the first game, that puzzle platformer, feeling like you were in this mystical nature, kind of like on some different type of planet. Such beautifully done art style and work in that game. That's my honorable mention. I really enjoyed playing it. It was very, very challenging and very, very difficult, like the first game, but with the puzzles and puzzle platforming, and it takes a lot of practice to get masterful at those games. So that's my honorable mention. I never played Animal Crossing. I just I've never really been into those type of games. Never played it, but I can understand how it was a game that brought a lot of people together this year. Going and visiting other people's islands and playing with one another. Ghost of Tsushima, I really enjoyed playing it. But it doesn't have the emotion of the story that is in The Last of Us Part 2. Last of Us Part 2 is my game of the year. The voice acting, Dan, we talked about this last week. Ashley Johnson and Laura Bailey, just amazing voice actors. And I really, really enjoyed playing Abby's character as well. And I know it's controversial for some people, but I really, when I was playing that game, I was getting emotionally attached to Abby and her story. And as you continue through the game, as you're playing partly as Ellie and partly as Abby, and how they have to come together, that was really emotionally intense. And that's something that I really like. I'm more of a single player person, and this was, I think, the ultimate single player game this year. I'm not so much of a multiplayer guy, but it just built on the story from the first game, and it took it to another level. So that's how I feel. So my honorable mention is Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the very beautiful puzzle platformer that built on the first one, Ori and the Blind Forest. And then, of course, my game of the year is Last of Us Part 2. That's for me. Last of Us 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's weird how it's interesting to pick apart this, because is it game of the year because of its game, or is it game of the year because of its story? I mean, the game.
Yeah, it has to be the story, because the gameplay isn't much better than
Exactly
a lot of other
that.
games.
Exactly
I would say
that.
the
It's
story,
quite limited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because, well, yeah, okay. That's maybe story of the year.
Yeah. But sometimes stories make games, though. I mean, especially now
Yeah, no,
with the
you're wrong,
single
but
player games. Yeah. So
yeah,
these single player narratives. Yeah.
yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah. It just seems okay. All right, fair enough. Then.
Let's go ahead and talk about some of the other games that we played this year, since we just finished talking about our game of the year. So, Burley, let's go in alphabetical order again. Take it away, man. Let's talk about some of the games that we did play this year as well.
One that I played that stands out was actually beginning of the year. Crabby may be the only one in here that has heard of this. It was a game called Temtem.
Oh,
It's like a Pokemon like game for PC, but it's coming to the other consoles next year. But the cool thing with it is it's an MMORPG. You can do co-op with your friends and stuff like that. It was just a lot of fun. I streamed I put 20 something hours on stream, and it was just a blast. And it does stuff that I would love the actual Pokemon series to do. Because instead of the thing of you can only have the 4 moves, and if you get rid of a move, TS, you got to go back and do all this stuff with items. Nice thing with Temtem is you have a move list, so you pick the 4 you want for battle, and they made it harder as the more powerful the move, you have a stamina meter for your creatures, your Temtems, and you have to be smart with how much you use stamina in battle. Because if you use too much, you take damage. So it really makes it hard. And a challenge.
Blimey.
that sounds interesting. I mean, I watched a lot of it, Burley, but it looked hard.
I'm going to say, I mean, yeah, it sounds good. It sounds like an extra, added level, added dimensional challenge, but oh my God, that sounds like proper hardcore. Temtem, I'm going to check that out.
Yeah,
I think
for
it's on
me,
PS5 now as well, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, for me, I played, Dead Space 2 earlier. That was the stream I was doing before I started Valhalla. And, it was fun getting back to, one of those survival horror titles, the jump scares and everything in it. Some of the same weaponry that you had in the first game. It's just a classic. I loved playing that. I was also playing before that, and I never had a chance to finish it. I finished episode 2, but there are 3 episodes. It's called Tell Me Why, and it's from the makers of Life is Strange. So it's different characters and all, but it's the same game playing style. Basically, you're walking around and you're trying to solve mysteries. You're trying to figure out some type of backstory from a particular character. And it had a lot to do with transgender issues as well in this game. So, and the powers that the 2 main characters possess, they, were able to communicate with each other telepathically. So that was kind of interesting. But it was similar, along the lines of Life is Strange. Yeah. So, yeah. How about you, Dan?
I was going to say, are there any other key differences between this game and Life is Strange?
No, not really. I mean, it's pretty much the same game. I mean, except for a different location, different characters, different story. But the gameplay is quite similar. Instead of having to, like in Life is Strange, you're using a camera and you're taking photos and things like that. Basically, you're just walking around and you're basically solving for example, clues from a particular fairy tale story from when you were a child.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I played a few games this year. One of the things that's surprised me, though, is freaking Doom Eternal has getting listed as Game of the Years. Has anyone else played Doom Eternal on this chat today?
No, I was going to get it up on Game Pass now that it's free, but
That's the ideal way to get it.
Yeah, that's what
Anyway-
I'm about to do because I just bought Game Pass Ultimate because they had a deal for $1 for 3 months.
Oh, Bog. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Because wow, yeah, it doesn't deserve it in any way, shape, or form. Doom Eternal's a bad game. That's really baffling. When I saw it on what's it? The Game Awards have it, don't they? It's one of the Game Awards nominees for this year.
Yeah,
I
it's
think.
one of the nominees. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, it wasn't good.
has it been improved much since release? Because they quite often take that into account, don't they? Because a lot of games come out broken now, unfortunately.
Yeah, but even it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't like a technical or anything. It just wasn't as good as the previous one, and it actually took a lot of deviations that had a very negative knock-on effect to it. But I guess it had some chunky DLC come out for it. There were extra whole story segments have come out. But yeah, I couldn't get on with it. I never actually finished it. I actually got kind of bored, and it became a chore. And I got to the final boss, and the final boss is one of those bosses that, hey, this is the boss. Oh, you killed him. Oh, no, you didn't. Do the exact same thing again.
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And I was like, oh, I literally just did this. I literally did this exact thing. And it's like, hey, do it again. But
I played a little bit of it. I played maybe 5-6 hours of it, but then just other stuff came out. It felt like the first game to me. It really did. So
it's like a watered down one, but it's strange because the first 4, 5, 6 hours are actually really, really fun. But then that's when you realize you've seen it all. Like there are no surprises left. But in theory, it should have been really, really good. Like they do stuff with the story and the lore. It's a little bit forced. Where in the first game it was like organic, you found it through just as you were going along. But in this game, it's like it just puts the brakes on. It's like stop. Here's the story time, and it's kind of like, oh, really? Okay, but
yeah.
But yeah.
So Burley, you played Miles Morales, right?
Ooh.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about Miles Morales? How you liked it?
Well, I did like it, yes. It was one of the games I got with my PS5. I loved playing that, especially on the PS5. I haven't tried it on the PS4. I've got to find a way to play it without me buying a PS4 version of the game. But I really did enjoy especially with the PS5, just that fast loading and zipping around through the map.
The gameplay and the graphics look great, Burley. But I suppose my question to you is: it seems really short.
It is short. I'm not going to deny. If you're just going straight story, and you maybe do like the odd pop up thing, it'd take you probably about 6 to 7 hours to do. But like
so
the 100%
£10 an hour.
Yes, but for me, like I platinumed everything and did everything, and it took me about 20 hours. But it is very enjoyable. If you did like the first Spider-Man game, I highly recommend it. I could understand waiting for the price drop.
Burley, is the map exactly the same as the first Spider-Man game?
It's pretty much the same. It's changed a little. Like I know some people, they're telling me, "Oh my god, this is so much like the story's much better." I can't say it. Maybe just because I'm more of a fan of Peter Parker because I've grown up with Peter Parker for years. I'm a huge Spider-Man fan and haven't read much Miles comics, but it's like I didn't find the story better. I wish there was a little bit more to the game and more villains.
Yeah, because from what I've been hearing for the next Spider-Man game, they're probably going to be adding, like Brooklyn and Queens. So those boroughs of New York, it's going to expand a lot from what I'm hearing. So
I think they probably need to do that with this game and just add the DLC onto it. So the Miles Morales one, because it just seems so small. I know the map's the same size, but if the story's that short, it just seems crazy that that's it. I just don't get it.
That's a hell of an investment for the little you're getting, really.
Yeah, but they're knowing people will buy it, and there are stuff at the end of the story to get you. Oh my god, I can't wait for the second game.
Sure.
And this is just to show you. This is I hate to say it because I know I'm going to get some people kill me for this, but it is a little bit of a glorified tech demo.
Yeah.
And to show you, hey, we've done some changes here.
Yeah. It feels like a DLC. Full game price.
Get ready for in 2 years. It feels like, what was that? The infamous expansion DLC separate game, First Light?
Yeah, First Light, yeah.
Yeah, it feels like that. And
shoot.
Or like the DLC game that came out for Uncharted. Yeah.
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 I suppose my most disappointing game of the year, which I was really excited for, was Baldur's Gate 3. Oh. I think it's my own fault because I really wanted to play it and have fun with it, but it's a genuine early access game. It's not just like where it's mostly done and they're trying to fix out the bugs. It's like it's essentially broken, and we will break your save every time we do an update.
Jesus.
So. But they were straight and upfront with it. I just didn't really believe them. So it's my own fault. But it's annoying. But when it's beautiful, and it is turn-based, and it's like Divinity Original Sin 2, but in the Baldur's Gate universe. So I wouldn't be surprised if next year it ends up being my game of the year when it comes out of early access. But as it is right now, it's just a bit heartbreaking because I want to get into it, but I know my save will break, and so what's the point? So there's that one. I don't know. Are we doing kind of overall review of the year? Because I've got a few others I've been annoyed by as well.
Go for it. Yeah, go for
it. Right. Civ 6. It's an amazing game. A really in-depth strategy game. And I thought they finished development. Then they released this new pass, which adds, a few new features, but they're more like little £5 packs that they could have released, but they released them as like a £30 pass. And all it does is adds meteorites coming from the sky that can blow up your city. And
bloody hell.
It's like, why would you spend 30 quid for that? So that's an annoying one as well. But still, it's a great game. It just feels like they're milking it when they could really be just releasing their next game because this game's 5 years old now. And then my surprise of the year was Medieval Dynasty because I heard nothing about it. And then all of a sudden I see a stream just with this random game. I think it was Over 50 Gamer because he's over 50 years old. That was his creative name. So I just saw it there and he was essentially, you're just a villager, 18 years old. You've got to try and have babies so, you can live on after you die. And you've got to build up your own village and make your own farm and go fishing and all that sort of thing. It seems like a really fun game. It's like a first-person medieval Stardew Valley sort of vibe.
Brilliant.
And it's great. And it's not expensive. It's very much in development, but none of it breaks. You don't break your saves when it updates and that sort of thing. And it's less than 20 quid. So... I would say that was my surprise of the year, the one that came out of nowhere because I'd heard nothing about it. And it's a really, really good game for that sort of vibe if you just want to chill and build and occasionally kill a wolf or a moose.
I'm down. Any farming, I'm there. That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Medieval Dynasty, great game.
Hey, Burley, did you play the, the Astrobot game that came with
yes,
the PS5?
And I did stream Astro's Playroom. I'll be honest, I didn't expect much of it. I was like, okay, I expect this to be a glorified, I play this for 10 minutes, I'm going to drop this.
Mm-hmm.
But, man, I can honestly say, if you get a PS5 in the future, play that first. It comes pre-installed on the console. It is a lot of fun, and it is a love letter to, if you've been a PlayStation fan, it is a love letter. There's a lot of, because you'll find artifacts in their old PlayStation consoles, accessories and stuff. And they just have there's IGN did a video of the 64 main references in the game. And it's just they reference so many different series that Sony has done over the years, and it's just like, wow. It was just a lot of fun, and I kind of hope with some of the stuff they do with the controller in that game that more developers make use of it, because that's my kind of fear, because I love the DualSense controller, but I have a fear it's going to be like in a
similar
year from
to the touchpad. Yeah, the touchpad. Yeah.
I'm not as huge on the touchpad, but yeah.
Well, like with the PS4, I mean, the touchpad, that was pushed a lot at the very beginning, like with Killzone and stuff like that. And then
nothing came of it.
Nothing came of it. So
brilliant.
Dan, anything else? Any other games that you want to add that you played this year?
Yeah, so like I said, I went through my list, and so I got Last of Us and Animal Crossing. A game I didn't realize was this year was Rune Factory 4 Special, which is a DS port that they moved on, a 3DS port, which they put onto the Switch, which was all right, like a medieval fantasy farming game. That was all right, I suppose. Didn't finish it, but but my biggest disappointment is 13 X111, a game I bought and haven't even played yet because I'm waiting for it to be patched. It's still apparently really, really bad. They've had 2 substantial patches since. The last one was on the 1st of December. But I'm still not ready to play it yet. I want it to be perfect before I jump into playing 13, because it's a game I really love. Do
you think it will ever be perfect?
No, but at least I hope it's going to be playable at some point, because it's still an absolute train wreck of a game, which is heartbreaking. But I bought a bunch of games, man. Like I bought Streets of Rage 4. I haven't even played that yet. I bought the Wonderful 101 remaster. I haven't even played that yet. I bought Deadly Premonition 2. Haven't even played that yet. Nightmare. Yeah.
Just on the weekday live stream, Burley can contest to this. We were talking about how Watch Dogs is still really bad when it comes to bugs. There's some bugs in the game that are causing the game to crash, and people are losing their save files and things like that.
Oh bloody hell!
Yeah.
Especially on Dan's favorite console name ever.
The Xbox Super Box Series 4.
Close enough.
What is it? Is it the most recent one that's the most affected by this? Then
I've heard.
Well, that's what the article was saying. That a lot of people playing on the next gen console, especially on Series X, there's but it's on Ubisoft's end that they're they were still addressing that the bug exists, but they hadn't been able to fix it yet. So
it's got loads of other bugs besides that. Like I've got it on PC because it came free with my graphics card, so I just had a quick go. It just crashes all the time. Just not related to anything. It just crashes.
What a treat!
So it's like delete that.
Yep.
Ish.
All right.
But yeah. It's been a strange old year for games, I think.
Yeah, definitely. But a lot of people getting into games that wouldn't have if the situation were any different. So more gamers than ever this year.
I mean, yeah, goddamn. Nintendo must be thanking God for COVID right now.
Oh,
like they must be doing bloody cartwheels in the street because the sales of the Switch during the initial outbreak, bloody hell's teeth. It's the number 1 selling console this year again, right? It's phenomenal.
Yeah.
Every month of the year, including the release month of the Xbox and the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's killing it.
I've known people that have been trying to get them this year, and they're like, as soon as they're in stock, they're gone.
That is nuts. That's nuts. Oh,
yeah, I was in my local electronics store today, and people were buying Switches for Christmas gifts.
Yeah.
Well, kids are stuck in the house all the time now, so you got to keep them amused and to leave you alone, haven't you? Really?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely killing it.
All right. So thanks, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move on towards the end of the show here. The games that are releasing for the week of December 7th through the 13th via Metacritic. So there are 4 games on the list. So the first game is Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 for PS5, Xbox Series X, PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Nintendo Switch. And it comes out on December 8th. So Japan's beloved puzzle game series Puyo Puyo and the world-renowned Tetris game franchise have teamed up again and again to deliver even more Puyo popping and Tetramino clearing fun in Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. Playing is easy. Match 4 or more same colored Puyos or complete a line of blocks to clear them from your board and dump garbage into your opponent's game. But keep an eye on what's coming your way too. Play traditional Puyo Puyo and Tetris or mix them together to level up your game, offline or online. You'll have loads of modes that let you play the way you want, from single-player adventure to couch competition versus to ranked online matches and more. So, have any of you guys played the Puyo Puyo series?
Yep.
Yep.
I have, but it's been a long time.
I actually don't know what it is.
Okay. So yeah, it's like Tetris basically. So next up on December 10th, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. So for PC. So it's a VR action this time. So it comes out on December 10th. Yeah. So Medal of Honor Above and Beyond is an action-packed and incredibly immersive VR experience set in World War II, where you step into the boots of an agent of the Office of Strategic Services, OSS, in war-torn Europe. The deep single-player campaign takes you through historic events on land, air, and sea, sabotaging Nazi bases, subverting enemy plans, aiding the French resistance, and much, much more. With the Oculus Rift, we're bringing players into the Medal of Honor series in an entirely new way, with an experience that transports you back to Europe in the 1940s. It's the closest thing to a time machine you'll ever see. And I just want to mention, there was another game, I would say this is probably the best VR game of the year, but, that came out, was it, trying to remember
Half-Life
what
Alyx?
It was now. What's that?
Was it? Is that right? Half-Life?
Half-Life Alyx, that's right. Half-Life Alyx, yeah. That was, a big one this year. A lot of people were talking about that a lot. So
Yeah, it got amazing reviews from the VR community, but I haven't forked out the money to get VR, so I haven't been able to play it.
Yeah.
Well, I think about a month after the game came out, people had found ways that you can play it without VR. I've meant to try it and pick up the game, but it's just been one of those things. I haven't had the time to sit and do it.
Okay, guys, here's the big one. Cyberpunk 2077. It's finally here. December 10th for PS4, Xbox One, PC, and you will be able to play it on the next-gen consoles, too. And there will be an upgrade, I'm sure, in the near future for the next-gen consoles. So, yeah, are you guys excited for it?
I'm very excited.
Getting it?
I've got it pre-ordered. I'm not expecting much of their shooting elements because I haven't done that before, but I'm expecting a really good story and world and customization. So I'm really excited for it. Should be awesome.
Burley, you playing it day one?
Not day one, because the funny thing is I'm getting it for my birthday, and my birthday's the day after, but because of whole COVID, most stores you couldn't pre-order in-store, so you pre-order remotely and they ship it. So just wait to see when my copy comes in, but I will be playing it once I get it.
Cool. And Dan, you're going to be waiting on this one, right?
Yeah, no great rush. I'll let you guys pay to beta test it for me, and
you're welcome.
I'll get it in about 3 months' time for half the price and all the bugs removed. So, cheers, dudes. I love you guys. But yeah, no, I'm definitely curious. And I hadn't even thought about that actually. They hadn't done shooting before. That's a really good point. I hadn't even considered that. It's that will be interesting how they handle that.
They've not done first person. They've not done shooting, so it's going to be quite a big challenge. Like, it's a completely new game for them to do.
Yeah, interesting.
Yep. Okay, here's the Cyberpunk 2077 is an open world action adventure story set in Night City. a megalopolis obsessed with power, glamour, and body modification. Assume the role of, I don't know if, is it V or 5? I'm not sure, but it's in Roman numeral V. Okay. So thanks for clarifying that for me, Crabby. Assume the role of V, a mercenary outlaw going after a one-of-a-kind implant that is the key to immortality. You can customize your character's cyberware, skill set, and playstyle, and explore a vast city where the choices you make shape the story and the world around you. Become a cyberpunk, an urban mercenary equipped with cybernetic enhancements, and build your legend on the streets of Night City. Take the riskiest job of your life and go after a prototype implant that is the key to immortality. Yeah. So December 10th. Yeah. Very, very soon. And finally on the list, for PC and iOS, Alba, a wildlife adventure. So that comes out on December 11th. So even the smallest person can make a big difference. Join Alba as she sets out to save her beautiful island and its wildlife and possibly start a revolution. So an adventure game. So yeah, I think there's no question which game is probably, the biggest to play this coming week of obviously Cyberpunk
Alba.
2077.
Alba.
Yeah. Yeah, Alba on iOS, definitely. Yeah, for all of you mobile gamers out there. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, before we conclude the episode, I want to let everyone know where you can find me on social media. On social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at expat_2020, and on my YouTube channel, Expat2020 Gaming, where you can see my latest videos related to new game releases, game trailer impressions, as well as this podcast. You can also find me on Facebook at Expat2020, and I have a Discord server named the Expat2020 Arena with a great community where all of you are welcome to join and support other content creators, discuss anything and everything related to video games, promote your live streaming, as well as leave questions and comments for the podcast. I am also a live streamer and a Twitch affiliate, and you can catch my live streams on twitch.tv/expat2020 as I do a supplement now to the podcast Monday through Friday called The Arena, a Multiplatform Gaming News weekday live stream, as well as gaming live streams. And finally, you can also find my website for my gaming content at expat2020.live. So that does it for me. Burley, where can people find you on social media?
They can find me on Twitter at Burlymengaming, and also on Twitch, twitch.tv/Burlymengaming.
All right. Thank you, sir. And Crabby, where can people find you on social media?
Right, so yeah, I'm on Twitter at CrabbyX10. It's CrabbyX10 on Twitch as well, and also on YouTube, CrabbyX10 again. Pretty consistent.
All right. And Dan, what's going on this coming week at the Center for Computing History, and where can people find you on social media?
So there's not much happening this week, so we're just getting stuff done in-house. We've got whole new carpets fitted, because we were flooded not so long ago, so we got new carpets fitted, and that's been great. On the 18th this month, Adrian and I will be doing a Christmas-themed live stream from the centre, talking about some really random Christmas crap games. It should be quite a lot of fun. Information available at computinghistory.org.uk. As for myself, I am on Twitch even, and I am not on Twitter. I don't get Twitter, but I'm on Twitch. Press start to game, all one word. I think press start to game. I very rarely stream. I'll be streaming a bit more because I'm going to take a bit of time off, so I'm going to stream a bit more. There are a bunch of old PC games I want to play, so I might start just doing that straight from my laptop. But yeah, other than that, yeah, that's all you can find me. And my YouTube channel, which I very rarely do anything with these days. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Dan. And Crabby and Burley, thank you so much for coming on again. And Dan and I want to wish you a happy holiday season. And I hope you and your families stay healthy and stay safe during the holiday season. And we hope to have you on again as 2021 rolls around.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
Yeah,
And
thank you so much for having me as well.
Yeah, have a lovely Christmas and New Year and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, we shall try. Yes.
Sure.
Yes. Okay. So to end the show today, and before that, I just want to say that I want to give a shout out to Crazemeister84. Unfortunately, he couldn't be on our show today due to his internet issues. We wish him the best and hope to have him on in a future episode. So shout out to Craze. So to end the show, our indie recording artist spotlight is on Ian Post, who has established himself as a highly sought-after composer in video and film scoring. An alumnus of the Berklee College of Music, his professional career has taken him throughout the world to collaborate with artists on an extensive range of projects. From his album titled Yuhi, which means evening sun, and the song is called Tayo, which also means sun. This has been The Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. I'm your host, Expat 2020. Along with my co-host Dan and our special guests today, CrabbyX10 and Burlymengaming. We hope to see you in the next one. So take care, everyone. Peace out.
Bye.